So referring back to the list of countries that I extracted in another video, I have here a bunch of countries and some of them have a single country, some have multiple countries. So I have these slashes in between and I might want to be looking for where are those occurring and figuring out and then putting that as a different list. There are a few different ways I can go about looking for those slashes in my countries list. So I'm going to use the isstrprop function, and we're going to talk about that. So I'm looking for different string properties within a string, or I can do this also within a cell array. So my slash is going to be a punctuation, and that's why I'm putting in punct. So here it's telling me how many slashes are in each different row. So if I look at test punct, I can see how many times that punctuation is showing up in one of these. So it's ranging anywhere from 0 to 4. And that's again how many times those slashes are showing up. So I would guess on one where the value is 4 that there's probably 5 different countries that own that particular satellite. So we can go ahead and look at that real quick. Looking at my countries list, this is one where a satellite is owned by 5 different countries. I could have done the same thing without a for loop. So string prop can work with cell arrays as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show that example too. In this case, I want the countries list and I'm not looking at row by row, one at a time. It does look a little bit more complicated if I write it out this way, because rather than just getting the number up front, I have a logical array inside of each of those cells. So this is representing true or false for every different letter or space or symbol, and it's saying true or false for each of those characters. I prefer the first way I coded it with the for loop because then I actually know in each of those rows how many countries there are. So it would just be those values plus 1. And rather than just keeping count, I could also just go ahead and create multiple different lists at this point if I wanted to. So I have my original countries list with 103 different countries or co-owners countries together. And then if I look at my sole owner, I now have a list of 72 different countries where they are a sole owner of one of the satellites from this list. And the rest of the countries from the original list are now in this list. So here I have a total of 31, and these are all the different countries that are co-owners for different satellites. So now that I have the list of the sole owners, I might want to go back and say, okay, I want to figure out how many different satellites they own. And I'm just going to go ahead and check one, even if it is a co-ownership. So I only want to use this sole owner list, and I'm going to be looking for this word within the whole list. So if we look at my updated list, I only have a single name for each country, and then I say how many satellites that they own. And again, I've made that assumption that anytime they co-own, that counts as one ownership. So now the numbers are a little bit larger for some of the countries. For instance, Mexico now has 5 instead of the 4 that we were seeing in the previous video. In this example, I'm only looking for the string property to see if it's a punctuation. I'm not looking for any other properties, but isstrprop is a function that can be used for a lot of different properties. If I do help isstrprop in MATLAB, I can see some of the different properties that string prop can look at, or I can pull up the documentation on MathWorks for even more details.